First of all, I will provide some facts and opinions about the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. The Louisiana Purchase would have cost 355 millions in 2021 dollars. That's around 42 cents per acre. In 1803, it was $15 million. The dollar had an average inflation rate of 1.47% per year between 1803 and today, producing a cumulative price increase of 2,327%. The purchase was financed by the issue of 11.25 million 6% bonds in the Amsterdam and London markets in early 1804. The additional US 3.75 million of the purchase price was financed through the US government's payment of French debts owed to US citizens. The bond issue was underwritten by Baring Brothers of London and Hope and Co. of Amsterdam, very powerful financial structures from early 1800s. The Louisiana Purchase was negotiated between France and the United States, without consulting the Indian tribes. Then, the US government started exiling indigenous people, which is called Indian Removal Act, culminating in the Trail of Tears. Those were all facts, which I can prove to you if you want, and now I will provide some opinions. Some historians claim that Napoleon had no right to sell the Louisiana territory to the United States. Henry Adams claimed the sale of Louisiana to the United States was trebly invalid. If it were a French property, Bonaparte could not constitutionally alienate it without the consent of the French chambers. If it were Spanish property, he could not alienate it at all. If Spain had the right of reclamation, his sale was worthless. Some claimed it was hypocritical for Jefferson strictly following the Constitution and at the same time buying new territories for the US. Other historians say that it's not hypocritical because countries change their border in two ways: conquest or an agreement between nations, otherwise known as a treaty. The Louisiana Purchase was the latter, a treaty. The Constitution specifically grants the President the power to negotiate treaties, which is just what Jefferson did. In my opinion, Louisiana Purchase was the turning point in US economics. The deal was too good. Starting from the Louisiana Purchase, the US had full control of North America. They bought gigantic landmass for a really cheap price. In today's money, it's 355 millions. And for example, Minecraft was bought by Microsoft for $1 billion. Although facts or primary sources are more reliable to figure out the exact sequence of events, opinions or secondary sources are essential to understand what people in that era thought and felt, and to consequentially get a better understanding of the event. I think that historians are similar to detectives. Both try to understand what happened in the past. The only difference is that historians care about the distant past, while detectives are interested in events more fresh. Any other distinctions are derived from that. First of all, let's compare their methods of working and prove they are similar if not the same. What's the vine and bread of detectives? Evidence and interrogations. By evidence, I mean small details found on crime scene or later on suspects that have direct relation to a crime. Then interrogations. They ask witnesses or suspects questions, ask for opinions to get a better overall understanding of the situation. Evidence is more reliable, primary source, and interrogation give a general picture, secondary source. Historians, as we already know, used the same methods. To contradict my own opinion, I will provide some differences. Main difference is, as I already said, the time difference. Firstly, historians can't rely on secondary sources as much as detectives. Secondary sources of old past could be low quality, as historians can't just speak to someone from that era, while witnesses and suspects usually stay alive for some time after a crime. Primary sources could also be lost and forgotten for historians. Second difference is that often detectives work for money, While if you are interested in history, you are not usually paid. So it's profits versus passion. Generally though, I think the job is the same.